Welcome to the channel, guys. In last video we've seen about control statements. So in this video we'll be seeing about classes and objects. So before going to the classes and objects, let's understand the requirement of classes and objects. As you guys will be know, there are various other programming languages such as C. We support functional programming, where we'll be defining functions or methods. Using that only we will be programmed, or programming will be done. So why we require classes and objects? So what are classes and objects? Let's go by the definition here. A class is a blueprint for creating objects. Okay. So what is objects then? A class, we know, like, it's a blueprint for creating objects. So what is objects? So objects are nothing but real world entities here. So what is real world entity? The things which were present in the real world are known as entities here, real world entities. So it can be anything. It can be a road, it can be a car, it can be a tree, it can be a building, it can be a sky, it can be earth, it can be anything which you can imagine and which is present in the real world are known as objects. So I will be referring those objects in the program. There's a requirement, there's obvious requirement. In today's world, we will be knowing there's various e-commerce sites such as Amazon, Blinkit, etc. If you need anything or any objects, we'll go there and we'll buy. It's as easy as that and as simple as that. So in legacy time, where systems will be used with legacy systems, those time there was no so sophisticated programming language and technologies present to represent those sophisticated objects in our real world. So those time, like big firms were using like database queries schema like that programming languages. Those time there was only text form of data or a command line interface present those during those time. So during those time they were coming with a plan to represent real world objects in the programming language. So they came with the idea of objects and classes here. So that's the reason behind the use of objects and classes. Why we need to learn that? So represent the real world entities in the programming concept in the abstract way. Yeah. So that being said, so let's go with the definition here again. So in a class, Java can contain fields, methods, constructor, blocks, nested classes, and interfaces. Fields, obviously, you guys will be knowing variables, and methods, you as you guys will be knowing that it's nothing but functions which you have seen in previous sessions. Once again, I will explain nothing wrong in that. And also constructor, will see that it's a special method. And blocks, static blocks, initialization blocks, you'll see that. Nested classes and interfaces. So interface I will be covering different video, and at that time also we'll try to cover nested classes also. In this video we'll see about class definition, how class name is included, and the fields, what are variables, what are methods and constructor, etc. So that's been said, let's take an example of car once again for clear understanding of classes and objects here. So as I told, a class is nothing but an blueprint for creating an object, right? So as and when I tell the class, you guys will be getting an abstract idea of car. Yeah, it will be having four-wheeler, so it will go on road. Like it can be off-road or on-road, so like that you will be getting an idea. It will be having glasses, it will be having doors, etc. like that. So when I said object is nothing but an instance of class, meaning that is present in real world, and it will be having properties and methods associated with it. So what is the properties and methods? So methods are nothing but behavior. Behavior meaning that what the car does. What's the behavior of car? Of course, it is used to go forward or backward, meaning that it can be done in the forward direction, it can be done back in the backward direction, and it can start, it can stop. So these are the four things which come to any person mind when they say car. This is the behavior of car. So what are the property values? Meaning that what are the characteristic appearance of the car? Meaning that the car will be having color for that. It will be having a price code for it. This is the price of the car, and it will be having kilometer drawn, how much kilometer the car has been drawn, and it will be having a model or brand name assigned to that. For example, in our case, it is an Audi, and it's been drawn for 1200 kilometer, and the price tag for this is 33k, and the color if this car is red, like that. So that's the real world entity, and the class is nothing but this car can be anything. As I told, object is a particular thing is present which comes to my mind. A car is such an abstract value, meaning that it will be having color, it will be having price, it will be having kilometer, it will be having model, like that. A class is nothing but blueprint, but object is a real world thing which is present. So like that, as simple as that. And car can be of any models also. It can be BMW also, it can be Benz also, right? When you tell object, we are particular about that. When you tell about class, you are generalized about that. That's the simple idea about behind that. So that's been said, let's go to coding part here. And before that, just to be clear, I want to make you guys clear about keywords present here. So what are fields? Fields are nothing but variables that can store the state of an object, meaning that as I told, properties will be present for that particular car, or in our case, or anything objects. If we tell a tree will be having length, it will be having breadth, it will be having a number of leaves present in that, like that. It will be having different properties. In our case, as you know, this string color is nothing but normal variable initialization, and here this is nothing but axis specifier or modifiers. Here axis modifiers are nothing but used to tell the user who need to use this color, meaning that is private and they can't use it without yeah, private means of course they can't use it. It is protected. They can create the object and use that. So I will tell about that. What is the meaning of private in the sense is that this color can only be used within the class scope, meaning that if I say class name, and I will like define the flower brackets, within that scope only this color can be used. Outside the scope the color cannot be used, but can be used in different context, I will say that. But private meaning that it can be used within the class. That's the scope of that. And methods, what are methods? Methods define the behavior of an object created from the class, as I told, and it can be private, protected, public, or patched private. Meaning that these are the axis modifiers present for a particular function. So you, as you guys will be knowing a function, right? This is a function. This is axis modifier. This is public, meaning that anybody can use it, or any other class can use this. And void is nothing but the return type of the function here. Void meaning that it is returning to the called function or called statement, and this is the function name or method name, and it does not take any arguments here. If it was taking any argument, it will be present here, meaning that it will take string and the name of the argument, comma, int name of the argument, comma, like that. Here nothing it's taking, and these are the statement present inside the function where the control execution starts here and ends here. So this is where the method execution begins, and this is where the method execution stops here, and this line will be executed. This is normal print statement where the engine starter will be prompted to the console. And coming to the constructor, so constructor is a special method utilized to initialize object. Okay, and the constructor must match the class name, meaning that the class name and the constructor names would be same. It does not have any return type. See here, we don't have any return type. If we compare this with this method, it does not have any return type. It has void. This doesn't even add void in the case here, and it takes three value or three fields here: string, color, model, and int in our case. So meaning that car will be having a color, it will be having a model, and the year of manufacture, like that, an idea behind that. So if we say like that, that's the reason for that. And the constructor special method used to initialize object. Initialize object meaning is that to assign value to the variables in our case. So we are assigning value, right? So color is a variable which is present locally, and I will show in the class definition here. And model also is present, and area also present. And this is used to like refer to the current class. So as I told, there are inner classes, right? They can be different classes. So to refer to the current class, we are using this. A class, and inside a class can also be present. I will tell about that in coming sessions. So this meaning to refer to the current class which you are using, and color is a variable present in that car class, and color is the like parameter being passed to this constructor at the time of object creation. We will tell that. So let's go to the coding part. As you guys know, the execution begins with the main method, and here what we are doing is that, just a minute, here what we are doing is that we are using a new keyword. So this new keyword is basically used for dynamic memory allocation in heap, meaning that a memory will be created in an heap space for this car. What is this car? This car is nothing but a class which you have used. Where is that class? Let's see that class here. Here is the class. So as I told, the class definition starts with the keyword class, and public is to specify the axis modifier here, and the axis modifier is public, meaning that any other class can use this. So here we should use that. Import statement should be used for like using this class here. It's not required, because why I will tell. It's in the same package, and the car is public, meaning that it will the compiler will JDK will find the class for us. So we don't need to specify explicitly in that case. So let's go to main method here. So car is being prompted or called. So at this time, when we initialize the car with these three fields, a constructor matching this three field parameter will be checked. So let's go here. A constructor will be searched. So class name and constructor name will be showed. like it should be same, right? We've seen previously. So if we go car, and this car will be matched, and it should take three parameters, right? So this will be matched. They can be different constructors also with two parameters, single parameter or no parameter also. It depends upon your scenario and in your use case. Here there is a constructor matching three parameters. So this three parameter here in main method I am passing, right? So this will be matched. Here three parameters we are giving, and the first two parameters type of string, and the last parameter is type of int. So the same thing will be matched here. The first two need to be string. Of course, it is string, and the last is int. Obviously, this will be match, and the control execution comes here. And as a rule, this is nothing but variable which you are using here. It's been highlighted. We can see that, and model is also nothing but a variable, and here is also variable which highlighted. This refers to current class, and we are assigning the coming variable which you have passed in that object initialization or object creation. Here we are passing three variables, right? This variable value will be passed here, and it will be assigned to that particular class fields here. These three value will be assigned with these three values which I am passing: red, Toyota and 2020. It will be passed here, and these are method. As I told, method are used to implement functionalities or behavior of the class. So here the functionality in the sense is that engine can be started for the car, engine can be stopped for the car, and it does not return any type void. As you can see, for constructor there is no return type. Here for method there is a return type. That's the difference here. So if you want to invoke this, we need to explicitly call it, right? So how will call that? Is simple. At a time of object creation or construct invocation, there is a this will return a value which can be stored in car type. Car is nothing but the type or the class type, which is car, and my car is nothing but reference variable, meaning that this object reference will be stored in this my car. So using this my car we can invoke its methods, right? So there is a reference variable called my car, and using that my car we are calling its methods. So nothing but start engine and stop engine. So when we call start engine, here it will be invoked. Start engine matching method will be invoked with no parameter, and the lines or code inside that will be executed for us. Similarly, when we call stop engine, here stop engine will be invoked because it has no parameter, so this will be invoked, and the lines inside that the code will be executed. Like that the scenario starts. So once again, if I want to tell, this car is nothing but the type of the reference variable which are storing, and my car is a reference variable, and new is used for dynamic memory allocation, and car is nothing but the object creation, or it is known as the constructor of constructor, and this constructor has three or takes three fields, and the first two fields are string in our case, and the last one is int. So this constructor with three string fields will be matched here, and particular corresponding will be invoked and executed, right? So what are getters and setters? So why we need getters and setters? So by default, it's a good practice to make variables or fields in a particular class as private, meaning that no other class can access it. If we made this public, directly we can access it, meaning that we no need to call getters and setters here. Directly we can access them, meaning that my car, we can access that like my car. Using dot we can access them, but this is not a proper way of programming, so we use getters and setters here. So getters and setters are simple. It's used to get the value of the variable and set the value of the variable. What is mean by get the value of the variable? Meaning that I have set the value right here in the constructor. Also we can set, and also we can set in the methods also. We have set color method is there, right? It's used to set color. It takes single parameter string, and when we call set color, I will show that example. I will code that once. So if I call my car dot set color, control specify set color, it takes string parameter, right? If I pass the string parameter to be blue, it should set the color as blue. Here I am getting red output. If I print that, it should print blue for me. Let me run this, run as Java application. Yeah, I am getting blue because I am at a time of object creation using constructor, I have set the value to red. But again, using that method or setter function, I am setting the value to be blue. So obviously it will be overridden, right? the value of the variable will be overridden by this setter method. So that's what happening here. Setter and getter method are used to set and get the values. So after that, what we are doing in the main method is that we're just accessing object fields through getter methods. So this thing you've been knowing, this is nothing but print statement, and until here the color will be executed. So this plus operation is known as concatenation object or concatenation operation here, meaning that any string value coming or written by this value will be concatenated with this and prompted to the display or console. That's what been happened here. Color, and this been written by this get method, right? Get color method will return this blue value. Let's go out there and check once again. Get color, yeah, get color will return a string value. Obviously string can only be concatenated, so string will be string plus string is an quoted string, and we will get color colon blue because we are setting blue. Similarly, value of the variable which you have passed at the time of object initialization will be printed here. So I think it's simple as that, guys. So a class is nothing but a blueprint for objects, and objects are nothing but real world entities which can be represented in programming, and there is like variables and methods for that, and I told the difference between an constructor and methods also. And I think that's all for today, guys. We'll see about oops concept in coming videos, and if you guys any doubts, any queries, please to comment down below and clarify among yourself. I think that's all for today, guys. Stay connected. Thank you for watching.